Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special event by Lumiere, Light and Insight, our channel. And today, on the occasion of World Environment Day, we have with us Mr. KV Subrahmanyam, who calls himself KVS, and all his friends know him as KVS, and that's what we'll call you today, who's going to share with us a little bit on his commitment and his organization's efforts towards the planet. You've seen the logo there, Green Chronicles, and that's the community platform. So, KVS, tell us a little bit about your work and your passion for the environment. How did it all begin, and where are we today?
Right. Thank you, Sabha, for having me and delight here. It all started about 18 years ago when I took to healthcare and life sciences as a sector. And I always saw this as a sunrise sector. And this sector has a huge potential to contribute to human life, plant life, and animal life. And so, naturally, we thought this is an area we want to invest the rest of our careers to see what you can do to improve, our society, things around us, and so on. And while we got into it, we started building our first few healthcare systems, and these were for large organizations. But as long as probably about 8 years ago, we got into something saying that we'll create our own storyboard and we'll look at how climate impacts health. Because climate started, getting more focus and more so because not because of the news around, but if you looked at simple things like the seasons, as seasons change every year, it gets warmer every season, every year. And if you look at those trends, they're on the rise. If you look at plant life, you look at animal life, they're getting impacted because of conditions getting more severe in most parts of the world. And so we got back saying that I think we've got to establish if there is a connection between the climate change and health of an individual. And we said, look, let's explore the confluence. Are there intersection points between the two? So one side you had the climate frame. Climate is nothing but an aggregation of weather frames over a period of time, and you have human life, which is running across time. People do age, and as people age, they get into vulnerable categories.
Hmm.
What does climate do to them? How do they sustain some of that impact of climate change? So these were interesting subjects, and we said there's nothing around there, but I think in time to come, this will have a huge impact on society, and we want to call that out. We want to see if we can have a forum where we can invite people who are like-minded, who focused on climate change, and its impact on health, and see if we can have this forum set up and exchange rich ideas, contributing to the research that is there. It also calls for us to look at contributions made by people in different parts of the world as regards journals, research papers that were put up there, going through them, coming up saying that small little things, impact human life. So so we started to then build models around it, and that's when we got into serious thinking saying this is a subject that deserves a lot of attention.
Amazing. So there is the company that you founded after you worked in technology largely, right?
Right. Yeah.
And healthcare applications after that.
Right. So my healthcare journey started about 18 years ago, and we were building commercial applications for healthcare organizations, pharmaceutical companies, medical devices, government institutions across the world. And what we realized is the cause effect relationship was more in terms of there is a symptom, and how do you address the symptom in a healthcare
Yeah.
system. In a pharmaceutical side, it's slightly different because you're looking at the evolution of a drug. from a molecule, and you start researching on it, right from how it is going to be accepted, how toxic it is, and to the point of clinical trials. So that journey, got us to understand healthcare more closely, uh, understands how medicine works on human life, what impact it has, what are the side effects, etc. So that was
Mm.
like two dimensions, the health and the medicine side. But when you bring the
Yeah.
third dimension in, like a climate, we can take small examples here. Uh, there are people who experience, difficulty in breathing when the pollen count in the air has gone up, and that's a very clear example where the surrounding weather or the ecosystem can really trouble people who are sensitive to pollen in the air. Okay,
Mm.
and they could have a bout of extreme excessive bout of sneezing that could
Yeah.
get worse and get into early wheezing and then into an attack and so on. So we could see direct correlation, and when we went into research, we found
Mm.
there are about 50 plus conditions in the entire encyclopedia of diseases, which is about 37,000 odd diseases in the world. There are about 50 clear conditions that are linked to weather,
Very
and
interesting.
these are early starting points for everybody because these are things that weaken the immune system.
Mm.
And so we said if we start working on these, at least calling them out, creating more awareness, it can help us all.
Yeah. So you got this insight through any personal experience, or where was it when you really saw the third dimension come and hit the health and the technology, which was really your path for 18 years, KVS?
Yeah, great point. It happened when it happened around 2015, which is about 8 years ago, when I moved out of Mumbai to another city in India, which is fairly dry. And I could experience personally my skin started drying up. And I was having the same diet, I was following the same schedule, and pretty much everything the same. But I realized that the environment around me was more dry. Mumbai is a
Mm.
humid weather, and so I started to wonder whether the weather around me is troubling me. And every
Mm.
time I took a break or went on business out of that place to back to Mumbai or any other place, I would experience different conditions. And I
Okay.
started to read more about it, and I started to chat with people, and they also, concurred on the same thing. And I said it's not only to me, but it's probably affecting a larger section in the society.
Mm. Then, after that, the Green Chronicles as a program came to your mind through some conversations, or what was that?
Yeah, great point. Eh, we there's a colleague of ours, Smita, and she's been extremely helpful, and she's been guiding us. Having chatted with her for a while, gave her the entire download in terms of our interest in building content around climate change and its impact on health. In conversations, this idea came up saying, why don't we create a community and
Mm.
invite people who have similar experiences and want to share more on this platform? So
Yeah,
that's how this
yeah.
whole thing germinated.
So, what does Green Chronicles do?
So, Green Chronicles today is a community platform where there are people who share their views. It's a blog post. It talks about simple things like how does climate change impact, let's say, plant life, or how does climate change impact human life. In that also, if I were to double click on that and say how does air quality index trouble us, what are the
Wow.
components of air quality index, right? And if I were in an urban setup versus a rural setup, how could air quality be different? So delve into topics of such kind, then delve into topics of, you would have heard about nuclear waste being let out into
Yes,
ocean that could
correct.
affect marine life, how could that affect us in turn? So subjects which are trending, which are global, that could impact climate, are discussed in that forum.
You also in the it talked about this being a community. So who are the participants of this community, and how does this community grow in your mind?
Yeah, so we've got people from they are all largely climate change or climate professionals, and
Okay.
these if you look up now, there are many in institutions across the world offering programs on climate change and several other aspects relating to climate. Now these are professionals who got themselves in that space. They've worked for several years, and now they've been spending the rest of the time in research,
Okay.
and this is that rich forum that comes together.
Okay. Okay. So the lay people also become part of Green Chronicles, as in people who are interested in,
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah, it is available. It is absolutely open for everybody. The objective is to spread more awareness or create more awareness, and talk about it, and also get some you know collective. So these are things that could lead to inputs that can help in policy formulation or policy amendment and so on.
So the thrust is on education, and through education, some behavior change that you're seeking.
Correct. Correct. That's right.
So tell us about uh, the technology overlay that you've brought in now with Green Chronicles. What is it that you are doing to make this information accessible to all?
Right. So today this is a community forum available across as greenchronicles.org, and people can join it. And it's more to do with research content. It allows people to contribute here. There are regular postings in terms of blogs, etc. over here. But what we've done is to apply this good quality research. We've taken this to commercialization, where we have built a platform, a platform that is a global platform, and we go by the name as moringa-ai.com, which actually promotes a lot of that what we have learned or what we've gathered from Green Chronicles. But more importantly, the Moringa application is available in two formats. One is for a consumer; it's absolutely free, where any one of us could download it from the iStore or the App Store and use it. So it helps you track uh, for for myself, for yourself, for anyone for that matter, based on where they are in the world today and what climate events are happening around them, and over
Mm-hmm.
the next, let's say, 6 8 hours ahead. So it is more like an advisory that
Uh-huh.
guides them, saying, I think you need to make sure you have your mask on when you step out. Looks like there's
Okay.
a dust storm coming up in the next couple of hours or whatever. So it's that kind of thing, but it's got some other benefits in terms of you being able to upload your old medical records, your blood work, your sample reports. It creates a complete analysis of your personal records, and that becomes something that you would want to look up. So
So
that's
it's
one side.
almost like
Yeah,
personalized in that sense.
it is personalized. On the
Ah.
other side, there is a B2B version of the whole thing, which is being offered to insurance companies, to public
Mhm.
health institutions, to hospitals, and to other industries like pharmacies, etc. The idea is, uh, if I were to help an insurance company reduce its claim by even 0.05%, by providing the right kind of guidance and advice in time, so that it could help somebody not get hospitalized,
Mm.
right? It would have a direct impact on the insurance company in terms of not having to pay for a claim. So it adds to the bottom line. So from a business angle, there are a lot of benefits that businesses have gained or would gain from it. So at this point, uh, we have started to work with one of the largest insurance companies on implementing this B2B side of Moringa.
That's very interesting. Uh, so the data that if I download the app and I become a participant on the platform, I put in my personal details according to my report, and then I receive personalized information on what is likely to happen over the next 2 days, and how the rains uh, or so it's a predictive in.
Yes. So there is a predictive element in it that talks about what is the look ahead. It can go up to 2 days ahead. It could be even 3 days ahead. But it also looks at your past history, and it
Hmm.
starts to create a persona of the customer. And over a period, so we've also built in an AI component over there that helps you, that helps the machine understand uh, what who are you and how this is going to help the machine understand what you are comfortable doing and what you should not. But these are things that help uh, you to maintain and sustain that quality of life.
So, if I were to ask you, very interesting, Kivius, your vision for Green Chronicles and your contribution through Moringa, how do you see that play out in the next 5 years and the next 10 years?
Okay, great question. Uh, Here's how I would put it. I would say Green Chronicles is like a library of information, rich in terms of content, and we're inviting the who's who in the climate world to join it, promote it, make it more richer over a period of time. And we are trying to work with some research institutes as we speak, in terms of they looking at the content over here, and see if you can create more models out of it that can help in research. That's the research side of it. The application side of it is driven through Moringa. So, where we've taken a smaller scope at this point, the eventual goal is to drive this towards sustainability. If we can, at some point have a carbon score that can be called out, and then eventually a sustainable score. We want to promote things like local economies. We want to promote things like how to use more greener energy, more cleaner energy, and this is all contributing to environment.
So, on your vision, as you progress, what is it that you would require at this point in time, KVS? What are you seeking? What is your message, and what is it that you are seeking?
Yeah, I would say that first is create more awareness about things happening around us. Um the reason is because it's getting more and more obvious. Sometimes there are climate impact on a human being, and he would go see a doctor. The doctor would prescribe medication, and not knowing that this is actually something to do with the pollution around him, right? What we would like is public health institutions to adopt, to take these subjects on board and see if they can be integrated to healthcare systems across. That will benefit people, that will benefit professionals and every one of us.
So, we always talk about the human body being an elemental part and a replica of the universe. And what I see KVS built today is really that. So, there is the whole information available, it's coming together. There is the interplay between what's happening out there in the environment and climate and how it directly affects us. We all know this intuitively, but here you have uh, the use of technology to bridge and to actually make it an interactive way of addressing the challenge that we face on an everyday basis in our bodies. So all of us have probably gone through this, but uh, how many of us have actually gone out there and built a platform, built an app? And I really want to appreciate and commend you, KVS, and your team for the fine work that you've done in for the community. And I'm sure there would be, like research organizations, I'm sure there would be schools who might also probably want to have this as part of their understanding of the environment studies, and creating both the dissemination of knowledge and the partnering, and starting them young uh, to understand the interplay of health and environment.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
So, we've had such an interesting explanation from you on this, and we look forward to going and participating on Green Chronicles. And I'm inviting on KVS's behalf all of you who are watching this event to go out there to click on Green Chronicles, and also to download the Moringa app and see what it tells you about yourself. And maybe that's something that we can all do on World Environment Day, is to acknowledge our connection with the environment and tangibilize it by actually having some real information about us and its interplay and what it means.
Thank you so much, Deepa.
So thank you,
Thank you.
KVS, for this, and a very happy World Environment Day to you, and more power to your work. And may we all be more sensitized and sensitive on how we use and utilize resources, including our own bodies. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Thank you, the team at Lumiere. Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy environment. Yeah.